At UVA Community Credit Union, our primary mission is to promote financial wellness and focus on people, not profits, by supporting the needs of our members and investing in the communities we call home. Learn more at uvacreditunion.org. Welcome to our Travel Savvy series. In this video, we'll review the pros and cons of various payment methods to help you pick the best one for your trip. So before you jet off, make sure your money is just as ready to travel as you are. A few quick steps can prevent frustrating issues and maybe even unlock unexpected perks. So while most banks and credit card issuers no longer require a travel notice, it can still prevent flag transactions or frozen cards, especially if you're traveling internationally or you may be making large purchases that are outside of your normal spending pattern. It's also good to confirm that your financial institutions have the correct contact information in case they do need to reach you for some reason. Before you leave, you'll want to check your spending limits to avoid issues, your daily withdrawal and purchase limits, your overall limits, and you may need to request a temporary increase or maybe even a decrease before your trip. If you're not comfortable, maybe it's too high, so you can also have that decreased. You'll also want to enroll in your online banking and download your bank's apps. This is the easiest way to manage your accounts, transfer funds, and monitor things for suspicious activity while you're on the go. Enabling alerts can also help you stay on top of your finances in real time without you having to constantly check. So that's a good thing to do, to just get that notification of any purchases on your cards. You can also add multi-factor authentication for an additional layer of security. But keep in mind, if your mobile access is limited, this could lead to denied transactions. Before you go, you'll want to add your debit and credit cards to your Apple Wallet or Google Pay, Samsung Wallet, and make a few test purchases stateside to make sure they work and just to get the practice down if you're a new user. And you'll also want to dig into those card benefits. Your credit card may include travel insurance, lost luggage coverage, car rental protection, even airport lounge access. So this is a great time to really kind of leverage any of those bonuses and perks that you've earned by being a consistent credit card holder. Selecting one or two reliable payment methods can help you track and monitor your purchases more effectively and reduce exposure risk of carrying around every card you own. But each payment option has pluses and minuses. So weigh the advantages and drawbacks of each and select what's best for your travel plans. So let's start with cash. In many places, especially if they have small vendors, local markets, paying by card may not be an option, and paying with cash can help you avoid foreign transaction fees. Even they may let you pay in US dollars. If they do, however, keep in mind you'll probably get change back in local currency. So really familiarize yourself with the exchange rates and what local coin and bill denominations look like so you're not shortchanged. Cash is also helpful for tipping and as a backup in case other payment methods fail. Obviously, the biggest drawback of relying on cash is that if your cash is lost or stolen, it's gone. There's no recovery like with a card that you can cancel, and carrying large sums of cash can make you a target. So, credit cards may offer protections like refunds for faulty items or protection against fraudulent charges. Cash does not offer that benefit. And while some tourists may accept US dollars, many do not. And exchanging money can be a hassle, especially in tourist heavy areas where rates are often less favorable and fees are higher. And more businesses are actually taking a cashless approach, and some may not accept cash payments anymore. So, credit and debit, that offers convenience, security, and flexibility while traveling. Most credit cards offer zero liability for unauthorized charges, and debit cards have generous fraud protection. So it's easy to dispute fraud charges if you're scammed or even charged incorrectly. Many cards also offer points, miles, cash back on purchases so you can build up those rewards while you're enjoying your vacation. They may also offer, we talked about the perks a little earlier, so they may offer those perks. So tap into those in case you want to take advantage of travel insurance, rental car coverage, discount on global entry, etc. You can also use local ATMs to withdraw cash in local currency. So that can help you skip the hassle of currency exchange if you do want to have some, local currency on hand, but you will have to pay withdrawal fees when using your debit card. And if you're using your credit card, you'll also have to pay higher rates since this would be considered a cash advance. Generally speaking, you do normally get a better exchange rate when making purchases via debit or credit compared to exchanging cash locally. So this is probably, for the majority of your purchases, using credit is probably the way to go, a credit card or a debit card. There are a few downsides, though, particularly foreign transaction fees. So cards may charge anywhere from 0 to 4% per international transaction. So do your homework and find out which card you have has the lowest foreign transaction fees or even no transaction fees. And if you are using an ATM, foreign ATM or out of network ATM fees can really add up quickly unless your bank reimburses them. So if you are going to be making withdrawals, do that strategically. And instead of taking out $20 four times during your trip, take out that larger purchase or that larger amount, take out $100 one time instead of, small purchases along the way. While widely accepted, some smaller merchants or local spots may not even take credit cards. So that's, of course, one of the drawbacks. And if you don't have good cell service or Wi-Fi, you may experience delays receiving transaction approvals. And if you have multi-factor authentication enabled, or if the card issuer is trying to confirm the authenticity of your transaction, that could cause an issue as well. If you're using your debit card, we talked about getting to know your daily withdrawal and spending limits. So you'll want to do that in advance so you can adjust that for your trip. One major drawback, though, of using your debit card is that if there is unauthorized activity or fraud, the cash in your account is actually tied up until it's resolved, unlike with your credit card. You're using your own money, and that can be a pain. Using prepaid cards while traveling can offer a middle ground between cash, debit, and credit cards. They come with unique benefits and some notable drawbacks, depending on where you're going and how you plan to use them. They're widely accepted, convenient, not tied to your bank account, so your funds are protected if your card is compromised, and they can typically be replaced quickly if lost or stolen. But a major downside of prepaid cards are the myriad of fees that they can come with. And those fees vary widely by card issuer. So you really have to read the fine print carefully based on the travel card that you're purchasing. Common fees include activation fees, reload fees, foreign transaction fees, fees to reissue. They also offer less consumer protection compared to credit cards, so disputing fraudulent or incorrect charges can be slower and more difficult. You may also experience some acceptance gaps. For example, some hotels, rental companies, gas stations may not even accept prepaid cards, and they may not work for security deposits or pre-authorizations on trips and travel. And having your cards in your digital wallet is really a great way to go. You don't have to carry around multiple cards, and you usually always have your phone handy. It also adds an additional layer of security to paying since it encrypts card details and the merchant doesn't have access to your actual card numbers. Mobile wallet also typically works without internet or cell service, but you may have a limited number of tokens that can be used in offline mode. So you'll need to reconnect to the internet periodically to refresh that access if you're making a lot of purchases. You'll want to download cards and test them prior to travel to ensure they're working properly and just to become more comfortable with the process if you're new to using that digital wallet. Before you set off, you should ensure that your mobile device is protected with facial recognition and strong passcodes ahead of time. And confirm that the Find My app on your device is enabled. If you're carrying another device like your iPad, you can also download the app to connect devices. That way, if your phone is lost or stolen, you can wipe it using your connected device. You could also log into your account using a family member or friend's device, but you must have your login ID and password to log in on someone else's device. Now, the biggest drawback with a digital wallet is that acceptance does vary by location and merchant. So you'll always want to have a backup payment handy. To ensure smooth sailing, you'll want to research what's most accepted ahead of time and have at least 2 to 3 payment methods. You'll want to split those up if you're traveling with someone else among those travelers, or keep them in a separate location like your hotel safe so you don't always have all your payment methods on you at once. This is especially important if you're carrying cash, so only bring what you may need for the day. Carry some in your wallet, maybe stash some in your travel belt or phone case, or give some to another responsible member of your party. You'll also want to download your bank or card apps and enable transaction alerts so you can monitor card activity on the go. But remember, you should never access that information on public Wi-Fi because that could compromise you. And carry a list of the card issuer's contact numbers with you so you can quickly report lost or stolen cards. You'll also want to memorize your PINs. Never carry them with your cards, because if you lose your card and your PIN numbers with it, you will could be tapped out financially, but also you could lose your right to recover if your card is lost or stolen. Now, if multi-factor authentication is activated, you should also ensure that your mobile service will be working so you can receive those confirmation codes. If they're coming in via text and you're using an eSIM, you'll want to be sure your device can still receive those messages, or change your delivery method to email or to your eSIM so you get those messages while you're on the go. You can also use an authenticator app like Microsoft Authenticator or Authy, and just, of course, test that by enabling airplane mode for a few purchases, and test that while you're home to make sure it's working. So, if you're traveling overseas, some merchants may offer to convert their prices to US dollars before buying. This is sometimes known as dynamic currency conversion. While this may seem like a plus, you'll actually end up paying more because the dollar price that they give you is usually based on a really poor exchange rate that they've set. And even though you're paying in US dollars, your credit card issuer may still levy its standard foreign transaction fee because the purchase originates out of the country. So the result is the convenience of seeing your charge in dollars at point of sale is actually a really premium price. So I recommend avoiding dynamic currency conversion and just pay in the local currency and let your credit card issuer handle that exchange. So while you're traveling, what does happen if you lose your wallet or something is stolen? Here's where that list comes in handy. If your wallet or purse is stolen, or your mobile phone and your information's on there, you're going to want to contact the credit card companies immediately. They should be able to block those cards and send you new. If your phone is handy and you have downloaded the apps, you can also usually freeze your cards or stop them that way. If you had your debit card, checks, or any account information with you, you'll want to contact your financial institution and file a police report in the area that the crime occurred. So a lot of times people skip this step because they feel like, they've called their credit card companies, nothing's really amiss, but it can be important to file a report, because if you become the victim of identity theft down the road, or you have activity hit your card, that police report can come in handy. You also may want to place a fraud alert on the credit bureaus to notify them that your information has been compromised. and that will trigger more caution when new applications for credit come in on your file. The initial fraud alert can last for 90 days. If you actually have been a victim of identity theft or had an incident and filed a police report, you can place a fraud alert on your credit file or a freeze. I would recommend a freeze where it's free to put a credit freeze on each of your bureaus. You have to do it through Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion separately. But basically, that locks your credit report and no one can apply for credit in your name. So that's the way to go, especially. And you could do both. You could do a fraud alert and a credit freeze just to offer that additional layer of protection if something has gone wrong. All right, so stay tuned for our next video that highlights common travel scams.